come down there so we can do this real quick. Does she have a, no, she doesn't have a light, does she?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm hearing stuff to my right now.
Yeah, someone coming down the step.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody moved their chair, I heard there was cars outside, and I also heard like rain against the wall, like dripping sounds.
Well, they said, there is things dripping.
Yeah. And I only felt like pressure on my right arm, and then I felt completely at ease. I was just like chilling. And my iPad thing was turned off.
Sorry, yeah, so bad. You tried, you gave it. All right.
What happened? I went to like a screensaver mode or something?
No, it's
You know when you don't touch it for a while?
It was on stop. It wasn't even on start.
Maybe you forgot to turn it on. Oh, look.
Yeah.
That thing went off
No,
again.
but then I heard like a loud rumble, and then I heard like, oh, it's a car.
Oh, I'm out.
Oh, hell no. I'm like, oh no. Because a couple went by. I was listening to the car. But I heard like rolling sounds, and I'm like,
Well, that.
well, then I came up here and I saw him rolling, and I saw you turn around, like, oh, it's probably just you guys. I'm mad that my thing was turned off. I think it's yellow birds. I really hope I saw this. Like, James! Get the James!
What time is this on sale? Okay. I was gonna say,
I thought
because
it was gonna be scary down there. Like, I was getting like,
I didn't get that weird feeling like it was
no, it
scary
only felt
down
heavy
there.
when you guys were in there, and that's when I felt the thing on my arm when I heard you guys going up the stairs, and then it disappeared. Yeah.
That quick, huh?
Alright, maybe you guys on me. You guys are friends.
Here we are. Messing up this table.
Her crotch is lighting up. Look.
Stop.
No, it is.
You know, she probably heard EMF, and now she doesn't. That's weird.
No, in between, there's a bright light in between her legs.
That's
there?
weird.
Yeah, there was.
Look,
There's a bright light on.
you think it's our phone?
She's an orb.
Orb is fine.
Yeah, orb just
Look,
went
look, look,
down.
that on the left. Did you see that on the floor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
orb.
oh,
Look,
look.
behind her.
But it was like
How we
lighting
do?
up the
We're
corner.
done?
Jesus Christ,
We're
he's
done.
scared me
I'll
half.
give you 2 minutes. That's Aaron right
Orbs are
there.
crazy down there.
Oh,
Even
shh,
when-
did you hear
Yes,
that?
I heard
I
it.
heard that.
I shut the door
That was the
too.
banging I heard to my right.
Say hello to Aaron or say her name. She's gonna be leaving in a minute. I want you to talk to her. Oh my God, you hear that? Go ahead, I shut the door on her. She's definitely in there alone now. Nobody can come down and help her. What do you have to say to her?
Not like somebody was touching my knee.
Did you see that
That's
work go
what
right up
came
when
up
she
right
did
from her
it?
knee.
You know what? I didn't say, but I was feeling a lot of cold on my legs.
Who's touching her? I want you to speak to her. Oh, there she's fidgeting like crazy.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
I want you to speak to her. Nobody's coming to help her.
Eric?
Eric. That's the first name we got. Oh, did you hear that too? Who's Eric? Eric, what happened to you? Probably doesn't like, I shut the door too this time. You tell her to leave if you want her out of there. Or you tell her to get out. What's in all that?
She's tapping. I think.
That's something with steps.
She tapping her foot?
Yeah, she's
She's
telling
not moving.
Is that her?
That's her left foot. She's
me.
tapping.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
she?
that's her left foot.
I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's moving up and down.
She's nervous. That's how I got. I started to get super.
Okay, we're leaving now.
Tom.
Tom, again with the Tom. I told you.
Thomas's most recent death.
Yeah,
Here.
that's how I felt.
Tom is still
I
here.
started
That's a
to
guarantee.
my hands.
Tom, her name is Erin. The woman before was Kara, and before that it was Gabrielle.
His name is Tom Howard.
Tom Hauk, or is that you down
It feels
there?
like somebody keeps touching my leg.
Did you feel like you were getting touched too?
Yeah, it just kept feeling like cold breeze go back and forth. I thought it was
Did
just
you,
because it was
Gabrielle?
down.
Just my right arm, and then I felt that ease. I don't know.
and then I felt
Okay,
on my
I'll get
head.
her out of there. They gotta go to the next place.
We gotta move, the groups are all
I'm
moving.
so tempted to just leave her down.
I don't think you'd be too happy about that.
It felt like something tapped me on my head too, like pretty hard, but I thought maybe the headphones moved.
I gotta find out what that light is between.
Between her legs, there's some light.
That's driving me
I don't even
nuts.
wanna know.
Right?
I just kept hearing numbers,
What-
like
what's on-
157.
1579, you said.
was a combination to the phone.
And then I heard like, it sounded like somebody was like pushing like a phone.
Yeah,
Like enough, like
The
almost
thing's
like
going
they were-
again.
Well,
That's what
I
I'm
don't
wondering.
know.
No, she doesn't have a light between her. She's not sitting on our flashlight, right?
I might
Lighting up her garage.
stop at the
There's nothing there.
car
Yeah,
and
no pockets, nothing.
leave
Oh,
my
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there, no pockets.
Wow. Now, is he recording this? Like, is this just?
I'm,
My group, I need you to come.
I would have loved that because I would have loved to
We gotta keep
see
moving.
what happened when I was down there.
Yeah.
With all the balloons flying around.
Oh, well, you don't have to
Lights.
go down. As long as someone else is in your house. All right, you stay right here. Do you have
That,
anything?
that light between
Yeah, I have
your
to get
legs,
some
there's
stuff.
nothing
There's nothing there.
there.
Excuse me?
She said, there's no phone or anything.
I have my bag.
I don't get that one.
And keep coming.
I can't even guess on that one.
And she comes back in, I'm like, I kept hearing a woman scream. Maybe it was just the type of sky scream, whatever. All right, so we have light, passed. Now before, this card has fallen out while I was shuffling it 4 times. I couldn't figure out why. Then it pops up here. What this is telling me is the labs in here, we have accomplished, came from all over. Which can they say?
They did. Mine were from Germany, Czechoslovakia. They only spoke their own languages. These are guys that worked the mines for like 100 years.
Now the past is in balance. So the past here, they're in balance. They're okay. They might be constantly going in the same thing, like they were talking before. They're stuck in one spot, but they are balanced. There's nothing overly evil. We have shadows stairs, right over there. Turns out there's mine shaft right at the end on the other side of the stairs. So that's kind of what that's making is the arrow pointing this way, and that's pointing mine is that way. First, I'll put my back. There's a piece of machinery in there that these cards are warning us is hurt in that line. Because if you look, we have this arrow pointing that way, this arrow pointing that way, this arrow pointing that way. All aligned. Then, usually you just pull these. I asked everybody in the last group, you know, to put 13th card, and then that was number 13, it's my favorite number.
Good number.
We flipped it, drowning. There's plenty of water. And they didn't know what might have been on the other side. I said, well, there's a W, which could mean water, but it could also mean someone who drowned in the mine and let their family do that.
You got hit on the and you would lose your ground.
You were saying when they were dead,
That is correct. But when you said drowning, remember several of the miners, they get knocked out before they puddle. They drown in the puddle.
We have the Eye of Horus, which is Egyptian, which kind of works with cards, but he's the god of the afterlife in the hallway, which we've seen plenty of shadows. So these cards are actually telling us, yes, there's something cursed over there, but what's in here is very balanced. There's going to be stuff here. They are shadow people, but they're okay with it. They're not upset. They're not evil. They're actually kind of like the caretakers when the caretakers can't be here. So I had read the cards and this right here for me. I'm reading them correctly. Now, understand these cards are like tarot cards. When you're shuffling them and you're working with them, they're getting to know you, you're getting to know them. What happens is, how I read them, I can have someone else read them. Right. Same thing with tarot cards. When you go to a tarot card reader and they pull all these cards, and you're looking at them going, what do you mean that's what that means? Those cards, you gotta stop. They've learned to read those cards a certain way. They're getting annoying. It took me, I didn't do it in a haunted location. I was doing it kind of like at home, just to get to know the cards, like I did my tarot cards. And the first place I did it, which was, I think, Whitehall, they were spot on.
That's actually, we didn't know. That's why it is nice to have someone that indicative to the area, is that the historian that was with us that night, she didn't tell us. There was an arrow that was pointing to the door where we all come into to Whitehall, and we just kept saying, what does that mean? And the arrow was pointing to the door, and it said death, and we couldn't figure it out. It meant nothing to us. We couldn't interpret it. She says, well, actually, unknown to you guys, the original owner, that the last guy that sold it to the historical in the township, actually had a heart attack and died right outside that door.
Oh, wow.
So you can learn things too by these cards.
Not only that, but these cards are now reading mine. We were at another location that part of the cards read the location we were in, but the rest of the cards were actually read for the group. Each person, there was one person in each group that had a suicide that had to do with a window. And do it painting the family.
And none of these groups of people, like, just like how we're filtering you through group after group, we had 3 groups that night. It was a shorter version, and there was the 3, and we couldn't figure out what the 3 was pertaining to, and then the suicide card. And again, she explained that doesn't necessarily mean suicide, meaning the actual face of it. Each group, unknown to them, we had 3 different.
So a lot of times it'll read the people
In the general,
and not just
Yeah.
the location. Because
So
when I
like-
walk around, I'm asking him, it's actually a case of, I'm talking to you, I can't see you. Please communicate with me through the cards so I can understand you. And that's what the cards do, which I love. I mean, 88 cards, and this one fell out 4 times, and now it's sitting on the table.
yeah,
So it's...
it's a lot like tarot cards. in
Right,
a
but
sense.
it's kind of like tarot cards for the dead, but what this is telling me is there's balance in the past. So maybe that's also a message for you guys at the same time, that your past has balance. Don't hold on to whatever it is you're holding on to. Let it go.
All rocks in these 2 rooms are going to give you light from the rock. That's forever. These rocks are over 1 billion years old. They came from the mine. On top of the world, when Sarah was talking about photons are so whatever comes from your electrons, these rocks are over 1 billion years old. Those electrons are still moving. So just stay where you are. You've been to Disney World, right? You haven't.
I dropped my flashlight. I can't see.
Oh, wow. They're pretty.
So the light that you see from the rock